What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Now it's time to break out the pine box as Darby Allin faces Andrade in a coffin match. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at this week's edition of AEW Dynamite, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the police are waiting to arrest a WWE star, Mike Tyson punches a man on a plane, a Hall of Famer involved in the Johnny Depp vs Amber Heard trial, a former WWE couple Elope, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, Punk vs Adam Page. CM Punk wants the AEW World Championship and he's made no bones about it, so why is WWE waiting around? The fans want it, and so do we. This is the world-class opponent fans have been waiting for Adam Page to defend the title against since he finished his series against Bryan Danielson, and a wrestler who can make or break Page's run as a world champion. The Hangman versus the best in the world is a dream match, and it could be next level if Punk were to turn heel, or perhaps even see a swerve with Page turning heel. While they likely want to save this one for the 29th May Double or Nothing show, there's no reason the build can't begin. As for Punk turning heel, last week's clash between Punk and Penta showed that the two babyfaces can fight like their lives are on the line, so perhaps AEW should keep both men as babyfaces for now. It's been less than a year since his return and there's plenty of time to pull the trigger on a Punk heel turn. Number 2, New Japan steps through the forbidden door. TK's big announcement that AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling are holding a pay-per-view on 26 June at the United Center in Chicago is sending shockwaves throughout the wrestling industry, as it marks the long-awaited collaboration between the two of the industry's biggest wrestling promotions. Now, while nothing is known of the card itself, Jay White teased that the show won't be about AEW or New Japan but the Undisputed Elite and the Bullet Club. That should be awesome. Number 3 is Dan Lambert getting over. The founder of the American Top Team and coach to Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky has already established himself as one of AEW's best talkers, showing a talent to get under the fans' skin but also a willingness to do what all good heels do, show vulnerability when it's running away from babyfaces or showing anger when a babyface mocks them. Lambert's situation is particularly intriguing because of the odd dynamic between his group and opponents Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti. It's obvious that the fans are turning on Guevara and Conti and that the couple are playing along with it, but does this mean Lambert will turn babyface? Does he even need to? It's difficult to imagine the fans cheering the obnoxious Lambert against babyfaces, but in this case a heel versus heel program could be a case of the fans of hating one wrestler less than the other. And lastly, Sting in a Sting mask never gets old. Some things never tire, and one of them is watching Sting in a Sting mask. Sting's run in to help Darby Allin deal with the interference from Andrade's allies made for a great pop, and speaking of never getting old, does Sting have access to the Fountain of Youth? How else to explain the 63-year-old taking sick bumps on a regular basis, such as last night's spot where Sting hit a crossbody off a balcony onto his foes? Now this man made different. But that was good. What about the bad? Is number 1 an anticlimactic ending? Last night's Darby vs Andrade coffin match, while fun, seemed a little rushed. AEW usually has every segment well timed, but things seem to fall apart during the main event. These things happen, but when it affects your main event, it's always a little bad. And number 2, Britt Baker's The Women's Division. Dr. Britt Baker is a tremendous talent, and there's no question she kept AEW's women's division afloat when it was plagued by injuries to key players and a lack of talent to step up. Nevertheless, the women's division continues to improve, and Baker's promo went far beyond the usual trash talk one expects from an egotistical heel. Baker is no longer the alpha and omega of the AEW's women's division, and while she's still a key player, her promo was counterproductive as she went too far, burying heel and babyfaces alike. And nothing ugly, as Dynamite provided solid wrestling from start to finish, along with the interviews, hype videos, and other segments that help build storylines and matches. The biggest downside to AEW's flagship show is that there are too many stars to squeeze into 2 hours, and it's questionable whether there's a demand for a 3-hour show. One area of concern is the budding program between Hook and Danhausen. While we're going to take a wait-and-see attitude, things could get ugly when Hook, who AEW is building up as the biggest badass, clashes with comedy character Danhausen. This potential disaster has us thinking back to MMA badman Steve Blackman's awful run with Al Snow as head cheese. Actually, was it that bad? Well, maybe, but we'll wait and see. What do you guys think of Dynamite this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to some news. Our first story looks at police are waiting to arrest WWE star. Topping today's news is an update on Sunny's current legal entanglements. The potential criminal case involving Tamara Sitch is still on hold as police await the results of Sitch's toxology report from her involvement in a motor vehicle accident that killed an elderly motorist. According to a report from Dave Meltzer, the family of the deceased have already filed a civil lawsuit against Sitch for $30,000. Meltzer also reports that Sitch was driving without a license and that investigators are analysing whether an imprudent rate of speed played any role in the accident. The biggest question is whether the toxology reports will show Sitch was impaired while driving. If so, she'll likely face criminal charges. Meltzer commented on the Wrestling Observer Radio that as far as Tammy not being arrested, most likely the reason is just because law enforcement officials are going to wait until her tests come back, and then if the tests come back, then they're also looking for more evidence on the speed the car was going. The tests can take a while depending on the situation, so it's not just alcohol but drug tests that can take a while. So until that comes back, they probably will not arrest her, but that doesn't mean because they haven't arrested her that they're not looking at arresting her. As Meltzer observed, even a clean toxology report doesn't rule out criminal charges, as Sitch was driving without a license and high speed may have been involved. Next up, Mike Tyson punches a man on a plane. Yeah, we know Mike Tyson isn't exactly a wrestler, but he's still involved in a lot of wrestling stuff. It looked like Mike came out of retirement for one night as the baddest man on the planet punched one of the most annoying people on the planet on a plane. Now looking at the video, this man behind Tyson was harassing him throughout pretty much the whole flight. I mean, Tyson looked chilled at first, but the man kept going. And then another video surfaced by TMZ where Tyson was repeatedly punching the man who had been harassing him. I mean, no word of a lie, this guy kind of deserved it. What an ass. Seriously, you gotta be the stupidest person to ever piss off Mike Tyson. Now, according to TMZ, the man who was punched by Tyson went to the police after the incident, but neither the San Francisco Police Department nor Tyson's representatives have responded to requests for a statement as of now. Seriously, what was going through this guy's head? Oh yeah, Tyson's fist. Next up, a WWE Hall of Famer involved in the Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard trial. And you never know when or where former WWE superstar Kevin Nash is going to show up, as seen by Nash's name being dropped during Johnny Depp's current defamation case against former wife Amber Heard. His name came up during the trial as text messages were shared suggesting Depp was upset when Heard was out late at the rap party. In 2018, Nash tweeted a photo of himself and Heard from the 2014 rap party for the film Magic Mike along with the following message. Hope you're well, miss your pure soul. Honestly, one of the most authentic people I've met. Hope you're doing well. That tweet might not have aged well. Next up, AEW announces the name of the upcoming video game. Now there's more info coming out concerning AEW's upcoming console video game as AEW President Tony Khan has revealed the game's title, AEW Fight Forever. Currently there's not many details going around, but according to Fightful Select, a September 2022 release date is currently planned. And finally, Kross and Scarlett elope. And last but not least, wrestlers Kross aka Kevin Kessler and Scarlett Bordeaux aka Elizabeth Chahaya have announced that they're now husband and wife. Kross shared the following message on his YouTube channel along with a video of a couple's marriage on top of an Alaskan glacier. Massive congratulations to them, but there you have it guys. I'll look at AEW Dynamite this week as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.